people, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Chirma and I am from Imo State in Nigeria. I live and work in the United Kingdom as an adult nurse. So once again, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want to talk about how I was able to change careers from being a microbiologist back home to becoming an adult nurse in the United Kingdom. Right, so I have written down some steps I'm just going to run through with you. Okay, so stick with me and then I can take you through them. So the first thing will be to do a research. So I've used Google to research about the course. So after you've decided that you want to do nursing, then of course you decide on the kind of nursing you want to do, because here in the UK we don't do nursing like you do back home in Nigeria, where you have like a general nursing thing. Here you either go straight to doing adult nursing or child nursing, learning disability nursing, or mental health nursing. So I have done the adult nursing. So I went online to check for schools that offer this program, and I checked for their requirements and their fees. These were important to me because I wanted to know if I'll be able to meet up with this requirement, and then if these fees are something I'll be able to afford. So it's important you put that into consideration. So also the city where the university is, you could also consider that. Okay, so if you're coming to the United Kingdom, you have to know that schools around London are usually more expensive, and also living expenses are usually higher in those places. So you need to also consider that. After getting the requirements and the fees of the school, then you can now decide, okay, am I going to apply or not? In my own case, I've applied using an agent. I didn't do it on my own. I've used someone to help me with that. So the basic requirements I would say for this program is, one, you must have a degree. Some schools we want you to have a health-related degree. Some schools will also take you even if you've not studied any health-related degree in the first study you've done. So let's say you did accounting in your first degree, you can still go ahead and apply for this program. So just so you know, this one I'm talking about is strictly about the MSc pre-registration course. Okay, it's a program meant for people who already have a first degree and want to transition into nursing. So the degree certificate is one requirement. Another requirement is your transcript from your school. Another one I would say is the English proficiency. So some schools accept your WAEC results, okay, as long as you have at least a C4 and above. Why some schools will insist that you have the IELTS English test results. So find out what the schools you're interested in. You find out what their own requirement says. Another requirement is your statement of purpose. Now this is when I say this is one of the key requirements. This is one of the things that could actually determine if you get this admission or not, because this is where you're telling them why you want to study nursing. This is where you tell them what had led you to this decision of wanting to become a nurse. So you need to articulate this down. So you need to talk about how you started, how maybe from your first degree, what led you into thinking of changing to nursing, and then what you understand about the NMC codes and standards. Okay, a little of this will help you to go a long way. Another thing you have to get is references. Most schools will request at least 2 references from you, maybe one academic and one work-related reference. I think that's basically the requirements you need for most of the schools. However, some schools will want you to show a portfolio. So portfolio in this regard means something like a track record to show you've done maybe a volunteer work in the health related field, you've done something like a job like a healthcare assistant in a hospital or any healthcare facility, and of course you can get a reference for these jobs. This will help you to in the long run, especially if you did not have especially if your first degree was not health related. This will show them that you really are making effort and you're really interested in becoming a nurse. Then the next thing you need to consider is, do you want to apply for this admission on your own or you want to use agencies? So just so you know, there are so many scams out there. So be very, very careful when you're using agencies. If you want to do it on your own, you can go ahead and do it on your own. It's pretty straightforward. But during my time, I have used an agent because at that time, I wasn't very knowledgeable about the application process. So I found this agent, and luckily for me, they were quite straightforward and very genuine. So I have used them and applied for my admission. So after the admission process, you wait to be shortlisted. If you're shortlisted for the admission, after the admission process, then the next stage will be the interview process. In the interview stage, so at this stage, you're going to have, okay, for international students, we are going to have something like a video interview. It could be over Zoom or it could be over Sky. So you have this video interview where they are going to ask you basic questions like, why did you decide to come into nursing? So at every stage of this application, why will always come in. Why do you want to become a nurse? What led you to decide that now you want to become a nurse? So you need to have this down somewhere, because you're going to keep answering these questions, and then they're going to give you like practical based scenarios, like they could throw like a situation to you and ask you what you want to do in that what you can do in that situation. Okay, I'll give you an example. So you can be given a question like, your friend called you over the phone and she was crying, and she just told you her boyfriend had broken up with her. What would you do in that situation? This is a kind of question you might get in the interview. You might ask yourself, why are they asking me this kind of question? How is it related to nursing? But it is very, very much related to nursing, and I'll tell you why. So in this regard, they want to know if you're able to listen, because as a nurse, you must be able to listen to your patients before you're able to prefer solution. So if somebody comes to you crying, saying her boyfriend just broke up with her, what would you do? What will you do? So you wouldn't just want to jump into telling her what to do. What the first thing you want to do is give a listening ear. Give a listening ear and give the support that friend needs at that time before you now ask how you can help. So this is, the kind of question you might get in your interview. So after this stage, if you're lucky and you scale through the interview stage, the next stage will be when you'll be offered a conditional offer of admission. So when you receive this conditional offer of admission, you have other requirements you might need to meet up before you get the unconditional offer of admission. So when you get a conditional offer of admission, it's usually have to pay a certain amount of your school fees to show that you've accepted the admission. So this can range from paying as little as £1,000 to 25% to 50% of your entire school fees. So let's say your school fees is £15,000 and you're asked to pay, you can be asked to pay 1,000 or 2,000 as acceptance fee. But some schools will want you to pay as high as half of that school fees to be able to accept that offer. So you have to look out for all these things when you're making your inquiries for the school you want to go. So when you pay your acceptance fee, some schools will also want you to show a proof of your account statement. That's how am I going to put it now? So a proof to show that you are able to pay your school fees and cater for your living expenses while in the United Kingdom. So if your course is 2 years, you need to show at least 1 year school fees and living expenses in your account. So this should have stayed in your account for at least 28 days. So most schools will ask for this, and once you have shown them this, then they will release your CAS, which is your confirmation of acceptance of studies. So once you receive this CAS now, you can now apply for your visa. However, before you go and apply for your visa, you must have gone to do your tuberculosis test, because these are things you're going to present at the visa application center. So you get your tuberculosis test done. I think it's done in Lagos and Abuja. I don't know about any other states, but as at the time when I applied, it was Lagos and Abuja. So you get your tuberculosis certificate, and then with that and other documents like your CAS, your 1 month statement of account. Now, for this statement of account, you need to be very careful, because of the exchange rates affects the money in your account most of the time. So it's always good to overestimate. So let's say the exchange rate of naira to a pound is let's say 700 naira to a pound. Now you want to overestimate and say at least 750 to a pound when you're making your calculation, so that when you put that money in your account for 1 month, at a period of 28 days at least, the inflation rate will not affect it that much, or may not affect it that much. Because trust me, even if it comes short by even 1 naira, that's enough for them to deny you your visa to study. So take that into account when you're keeping you're building your account for your visa application. So the next step is to now apply for your visa and then go for your visa interview. So again, at your visa interview, you're going to be asked, why have you chosen the course? Why have you chosen the university? So you need to be able to know things about the university, like why the university, what is it about the university. So you can talk about things like, oh, the university ranks so. You can talk about the facilities of the school that fascinated you, or that interested you and made you want to apply. Okay, so don't give generic answers like, oh, the UK, it has high education. Everybody knows that, and trust me, they hear that every day. So they want to know that you've made research about the UK. They want to know that you made research about the school you want to go to. So after your visa interview, if you're lucky, you get your visa application, and then you can start you can now start packing your bags to come over to the United Kingdom for your studies. So I still have a little more to say, but I think I will stop here for now. In my next video, I'm going to tell you more about the nursing course itself. So now you're in the United Kingdom, what to expect in the nursing program, or give you a little of my own experience studying in the United Kingdom. Thank you so much for sticking with me to this point. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye.